I think I like it.
Welcome back to another episode of Sweet Cards, Dude, presented by Houston Card Exchange. What's up, guys?
What up?
How y'all doing? So today we're really excited. We have Luke the Cardist on the show with us. We actually ran into each other last year at the National. I think we bumped into each other at a few card shows, Conroe Card Show, a couple times over the last couple of years, but we're just really glad to have you today. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to join us. And so thanks for coming on, man. Oh, shit.
Chat for a little bit.
Cool, man. So what came first for you, the love for cards or the love for art?
I'd like to say, so realistically, art. I mean, art was, since I've been, I can't remember when I started art, and I can kind of remember when I started getting into sports cards. Like when I was really young, my uncle, so he's always worked in sports, and he worked with like the Angels and the Dodgers, like when I was really young. And just from stuff I get cards and little stuff from the stadium I'd get from him, that kind of, I think, is what slowly got me into it. But I can remember that was probably around 6 or 7, and I'm pretty sure I've been doodling in some form or fashion since before then. So
that's cool, man. Do you remember the first card you ever drew on or like kind of customized?
Yeah, I do. It's only because it's part of my story. I'll tell every now and then in terms of kind of how I got into this thing. Like
cool.
I took a DK Metcalf card, painted on it. And this is all after, so I was getting back into collecting and was naive to the whole eBay thing and bought a card thinking it was manufactured a certain way. And when I got it in, I couldn't really tell what was done to it, but I'm like, someone did something, like embellished this somehow. I don't really know what it is, what I'm looking at. And I was like, that'd be kind of fun to do. Like I hadn't, for years, like I worked in art, like Trader Joe's and doing a lot of freelance work and sign work around town. And I never had anything I was really passionate about. And so I kind of was at a lull for a couple of years I was still creating, but nothing really that was really getting me excited. And so I was getting back into cards. And like I said, I bought this, I got it. I was like, this could be fun. And so I took a DK Metcalf card that was like, at that point, still any card I thought was, this is worth this and this, and it was the value. And I'm like, I can throw this away if need be. It's a cheap card. And I painted on it and did a little design. It was just off the top of my head. And I put it on eBay and it sold for like $300. And that was the first one I ever did. And so like, I saw when that happened, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like something here. Yeah. So
hell yeah,
that was the start of it. And I really haven't looked back since. It's been, I guess, from that day.
That's cool. How long ago was that?
I want to say that was in the beginning of 2021, late 2020, somewhere around there. Yeah, it's crazy how time flies.
So I mean, we know you from the cards. Is there other art that you do? Do you do like full on like commissions, like full size like canvas paintings, or?
I do. I mean, it's funny when offers come my way or inquiries. There's a lot of, for really my whole life, I kind of take in anything on, right? Like even if they go, have you worked on this or have you done this before? I'm like, yeah, but in all actuality, like, no, but I'd love to try.
Hell yeah.
And so because of that, I've kind of like built this, I don't want to say toolbox, but like I know how to do a bunch of different things and I have worked on a bunch of different things. So most of them that come in that aren't cards are just sporadic commissions, whether they're canvas pieces and whether they're embellished canvas pieces or painted or customized cards from scratch and doing digital stuff and printing them and things like that. So there's a little bit, but for the most part, I like to, I post primarily my cards and the work I've gotten has been tied to cards or around that, the hobby in general.
So yeah, I stumbled across you, Brenton, probably 2 years ago, and I did a bulk deal, and they threw in that Kobe that I've been holding on to, and it was kind of like the cherry on top of that deal. And then low key just had it, never really priced it, bring it in, and then you just stumbled across. You're like, hey man, I kind of did this. I'm like, oh shit, and then it was crazy. But yeah, dude, that me and Brent just really, there was a ball. There was like 3 of them that were in that one. I can't remember the third one, but the Kobe is just in some of the stuff I saw. Some of those wrestling ones though you did recently were crazy, man.
I appreciate it, man.
So
Yeah,
what?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good.
No.
You
I
go
was just
ahead.
gonna say that was crazy running into you, and just like I always kind of look through the cases, and I'm like, it didn't even really register. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, wait a minute, like I did
That's
that.
me.
I did that, yeah. So I
That
figured
one
I'd
will
say what's
never.
up.
We will hold that from you, man. And like I said, you blessed us with the second Kobe now, and we got an
Mhm.
Otani,
Yeah,
and then the one you did for Am, dude. That's special too, man. I appreciate that.
cool. I love doing them.
So I've seen you, like you've worked with Upper Deck and you've worked with Tops and stuff like that. So like, how did you land gigs like that? And then what is that process like even like? I mean, as far as having your art like in a drop and it's in an actual release. I mean, that just to
You
me
go
seems
anywhere.
just mind blowing. Like, I mean,
It
it's
is.
Yeah.
It
crazy.
still is mind blowing. Like working on a project tonight and talking to my wife, I'm like, this is just so cool that I even get to do this. But really, when I started doing this from that first card, at that point I was doing like project management, and I was on the road, traveling all the time away from my wife and daughter, and just like I liked the people I worked with, and it paid the bills, but I was miserable traveling. Like there was no consistency, and but so when this art thing or these cards kind of came back into my life, and this thing started to get rolling, I was still working on the road, so I, figured out what I was going to do and had this game plan and started creating these cards, and I was back on the road, so I took everything with me, little makeshift studio, and was working crazy hours, then going back to Motel 6 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I had this little desk, and I'd work on. I constantly continued to create, and it got to a point where I had the discussion with my wife, and that like I had a lot of commission orders coming in, and I was selling a lot of cards that I was posting, and it was I was able to only put in I was working my full-time job and putting in a lot of my effort into that and very minimal into this little side thing, and the side thing was orders were still coming in and I was making money, and I'm like, what if I put all of my eggs in this basket and really transition to this? And so we had that conversation, and decided to quit the job and move back home and do this full time. And not only has it kind of brought all these jobs and all these opportunities that have come my way, but I'm back with them, which is just like take my daughter to school in the morning, coaching soccer practice, and do it all, being able to go out to dinner, during the week. And so that's been the biggest blessing, aside from all these things, great opportunities and things that have come. But so when I did make that decision, I really, I prided myself on like, I took care of things on the creative front, but I also really busted my butt on the backside of things and sending emails and cards and messages and phone call, everything I could to just try to make these little connections. And I felt like for a little bit, like little accomplishments, kind of snowballed, and we're adding up slowly. But it's great to have this Conroe show, like 10 minutes from where I live, and Shane's a great guy, and I've loved setting up there. But before the Conroe show was really around, I was only traveling for big shows. So whether it was the National, or out in California, some big shows, and the Mint Collective was in Vegas for those 2 years, and it was a great show, and it was at the MGM. Like I can understand maybe why it didn't come back for the third year, because it was a crazy production. But at that moment, Fanatics had just announced their Tops acquisition and how they were going to be in charge of cards. And Josh Luber was running the sports cards at that time, and he had put out an Instagram post and said, for everyone that's going to be at the Mint Collective, Fanatics is taking meetings essentially to discuss like wax displacement for like hobby shops and how many boxes go where. But I had it, for me, that was an email that was setting up meetings, regardless of what they were about. So I shot that email and said like, hey, introduce myself, explain what I did, send some pictures. And they responded with like, hey, we'd love to meet with you Saturday, at the Mint. So I was like, okay, cool. So I show up there, and I actually had an interaction with a guy that ran like the Tops Project 70 in 2020 on Friday night.
Cool.
And he liked my stuff, and we were talking, and I was like, well, I actually have a meeting with you guys tomorrow. And so I went in, and he was actually in there in the room in the meeting. So it was like, oh, that guy, he knows me. And he came. And so it was a great meeting, and I was kind of waiting for, this is all great, but this is why we can't do it. But like the just never came, and I left the meeting, and I was like, I have a pretty good feeling, like, because the whole thing was like they wanted something in like chase cards and products that weren't just autographs or relics, which is like up until this point what only thing you've been able to see. So they were on board. They loved the art. And so, but having said that, like these projects, like I've learned over the course of these, the handful that I've done, that it's a long process from like first talks to the product's out and everything's great. Like it's my last Upper Deck one, or the first Upper Deck one, took 1 year and 7 months from our first conversation to where it was out and the product was, in people's hands. So yeah, I guess that's a long-winded answer for like
No, it's
that's what we wanted to know. My question on that. Really. So when your Upper Deck dropped, right, and you said it was 1 year to 7 months, is that till someone pulled it and you saw it, or how long until you first saw that one?
So, sorry about that. So so they were different in the sense of, and I'm bringing this up because when Topps came out, they were all 1-of-1 art card variants in the product. So they were all 1-of-1s, hand painted. Because of that, they're very hard to pull. So we're celebrating as a family. We buy a couple boxes, but the reality is, like, we didn't pull one, and we didn't really expect to pull one. It was going to be tough to come by. So, seeing them come out, that was that much cooler to see them. People pull them and them surface online. But the Upper Deck was so actually the second year at the Mint is where I met Billy, my guy with Upper Deck, who's just like the greatest dude, like. Really good friend of mine now, and we bonded over wrestling, and he loved my art, and he is in charge of all the AEW sets and hockey sets at Upper Deck, and he was like, I'd love to have you do something in wrestling. So we were waiting on wrestling when the hockey came up, which is crazy, but from our initial conversations to when it was actually released, like we didn't know if they were going to be hand painted or how we were going to go about this, and it was different from the first set in that my hockey cards were all designed digitally, and then the files were sent, they were printed, and it's cool, like you go to Walmart and pick up a box and you get 1 a box, and the hobby boxes, I think you get 3 a box. So we were able to celebrate that a little more to where it was like, we're open, they're right there.
You actually see it. That's wild, bro.
So they were that 1 year and 7 months was literally from like that talk to release day. And actually, I just tagged a guy on my story. It was either yesterday or today that tagged me that he collected both from Series 1 and Series 2, the full Young Guns renewed set, which is like 100 cards. So it was cool to see them all together, but it's cool that there's plentiful. And then that was the first art.
What year set was that NHL set? I just want to make a note real quick.
2024, 2025 Series 1 and Series 2 hockey. And actually, this is kind of cool. So this is what Series 2 looks like. These are out. This is like a box from Walmart. But they put my art, my McDavid on the side.
That's badass.
So really, really cool. And they did the Ovechkin for Series 1 on the side too. The McDavid.
That's what I want. That's my move.
Yeah. So and I actually just picked one up here. I just got these off eBay. This is the Ovechkin. I just picked that one up off eBay, and then an Austin Matthews. But yeah, it's cool. Man. It's cool. They're a lot more plentiful, and but
have you seen a Topps pulled yet? You're 1-of-1s yet? Have you seen one of those came out yet?
Yeah. So a handful. Who knows now? I still say everyone that comes up when I'm set up at shows, I have my banner and some cards I've done, and my Shohei that I did for Topps I have yet to see it pulled, and that was my favorite one in the whole set that I did. So I know that from that first Series 2, I know the Trout was pulled. The Byron Buxton was the first one. I remember that Filth Bomb pulled that, and that was cool to see. But yeah, the Trout was pulled and put up on eBay and resold pretty quick for a good chunk of change, which was cool to see. But yeah, I know there's still probably a bunch that are sitting in boxes somewhere, including that Shohei. But yeah, there is in few and far between though. It's a lot harder to come across.
What set was the Topps release?
Topps was 2023 Series 2 and Update Series.
Were they redemption, or you actually they were in the packs?
In pack. in pack.
Nice.
So what's cool too is I wasn't really sure, because when I send them back in one touches like I would normally ship them out, and but I knew one touches couldn't go in packs, so I wasn't really sure how they were going to do it. But they were sleeved, so the Byron Buxton, and normally the hits are like in the middle of the pack. He ripped the pack, and the Byron Buxton was right on top in the sleeve.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So that was
That's
top cards. So yeah, they're at least they're protected. I was happy for that.
What so I mean, the style of your, is there like a style, like do you have influences for your art, like where you like get inspiration from, or like is it just off your dome? Or
yeah, I mean, it's off my dome. But that's like in the moment. Like I grew up loving like old school rock and roll, like screen print posters, really saturated, colorful, really like cartoonish pieces. And so just like pop art style, I've always loved, and I love the color. And so I feel like I try to convey that in my piece. Like I love color, and I love really, really bright, colorful pieces. I think as time's evolved, I've kind of, styles always, they kind of stay here, but they kind of go like a little bit left, a little bit right. And I'm okay with constant, like it's just every piece I do, I'm like, this is going to be my favorite one, is the next one. Because every one I feel like just gets a little better, or I learned something. Still to this day, every piece I do, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that next time. I am going to do that this time. But in terms of like the big projects, I've been blessed with like I have not had anyone that's like, this is what you need to do for this, or need to do for that. They say, hey, whatever you can come up with. There's obviously teams and logos and name, image, likeness, and all that stuff like that, like trademarks, they're very particular about. So they, at least the hand painted ones, had to get cleared by every team before they could be put in the pack. So that's they're finicky about certain things. So that didn't deter me from making anything, but it's kind of like in hindsight, you learn like, okay, next time I won't include this, or I won't change this way. But the Upper Deck projects have been great. And I guess as an artist, so we were just at All in Arlington at big AEW event with them. So I guess it's 3 or 4 weeks now. And I'm doing an AEW set for them coming up in the spring. And so really cool event, like a year in the making. And I left that weekend. I was telling my wife, I'm like, it's nice as an artist when you feel like you're truly wanted and appreciated by the people that, that are producing your work, or that are having a say in any of this. And, they're like, this is yours, whatever, we're invested in the Luke the Cardist set, not, you need to be invested in an Upper Deck set and do it a certain way. So, I'm on September 24th is the due date for that, and I'm a little bit, but I'm having a blast already, and I'm so excited for these. So it'll be cool to see them come out. But again, no parameters, which I absolutely love. That's the best way to work.
That's awesome, man.
Brandon, have you seen the first Kobe? It has like almost a texture to it. He nailed the whole black. You were talking about his vibe. So I feel like each one that we've gotten, total different style. Like me and Ann, we collect art like pieces all across the house. But dude, that Kobe, that first one that stuck me, dude. And I was like, it has like a snake scale to it, Brandon, almost a texture to the picture. It's one of my favorites.
I remember which one it is. I mean,
it's in my office at work.
Yeah.
It's like on my little stand. It's definitely one of my favorites, but it drew me to you, man. But the second Kobe's total different. I'm liking almost like the 80s graffiti with the how that one's vibing, and then the kanji on the Otani, bro. Each one, I'm telling you, Brandon, it's total different vibes. Like, I don't know to explain it, but you do.
So I got another question for you, and I'm kind of going off topic, but I mean it is what it is. But so back in the day, I went to school originally for audio engineering. I wanted to record music, be a rock star. I wanted to just make music. That's all I wanted to do all day.
Yes, sir.
And like when we would record stuff, I would always find like someone's cough in the background, or just something that just would drive me crazy. And it like that drive for perfection. Do you have any of things, like any of the cards that are out there where you like, like there's like this little imperfection in it, but it's not blatant, but to you it is.
Everyone.
Every single one?
Every single piece. I swear, every single piece. Like it's like, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-sided sword where it's like you can really obsess about something and want it to be perfect, but it gets to a point where like it's not saying that it is perfect, but it's like you're good. Like this, art isn't supposed to be perfect, and so I have to continually remind myself of that. But yes, I do a test with my wife. I'm like, look at this, and she's like, it looks great. I'm like, do you not see where that line's a little thicker right there? And to the average eye or someone looking at it that's not me, over their head. And for me, if you show me that, that's all I'm going to see. So yes, every piece, but I have found a nice middle ground where I'm okay with every piece having something that I'm not 100% okay with.
That's cool. So when you sit down and you're getting ready to like design a card, like what's your process? Do you like sketch it out first, or you just kind of just get in the zone and just go to town?
Yeah. So every now and then I will step outside the box and just sit down with nothing and go for it and see what comes out. But I really, since the very beginning, I started on a sketch pad and I would kind of sketch out a card in the body shape and then draw with pencil on a sketch pad what I wanted to do. And then I would try to replicate it. And then eventually I upgraded to this iPad and it changed so much for me. Aside from being able to do digital projects and be able to create things like that, I upload the image of the card and then I design everything out first. Not necessarily to 100% detail, but I design it out. So when it comes time to paint, I just have to execute versus think about what I want to do or what do I do here. And it is, so because of that, the process, there's the designing process and then there's the painting process and, it adds a little more time, but it's, I'm so used to it now. I don't know if I could go with not using it.
How long does it typically take you to do like one card?
I'd say from conception to completion, it really depends on how much detail is in the card. And some cards are more difficult to work with than others in terms of how the stock takes the paint, whether it's a chrome or cardstock or all those different things. But I'd say that the average is probably like 6 to 7 hours.
That's some time. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it definitely goes up. I mean, there's some that super, super detailed that are probably north of 10 hours. But I'd say probably see the sweet spots right around that 6-7 hour range.
Do you prefer cardboard? I'm gonna just attach that. Do you prefer like cardboard or like what's easier? Chrome? Is Chrome kind of hard to mess with? That Otani looked to be on. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, cardboard's easier, but Chrome I like working on more, and specifically like holofoil Chrome or any card that like the Otani's a Mojo, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was. Yeah.
And the reason being is the acrylic paint is a matte paint, and so that matte paint in contrast with the shiny hollow foil, whatever it is, it just makes the paint pop that much more. So I love when I go on eBay, I generally look for silvers or things like that to paint on. But then again, like there's some that you can't really see too much behind. So, but the card stock, like regular cardboard, that's the way to go for sure.
Cool. Have you done any like junk wax era cards? Like, I mean, have you had people ask you to like do like cards like that or anything?
Yeah, I have. A handful of Bo Jacksons, some Roger Clemens. I'm a Giants fan, so I grew up in Houston, but I'm a diehard San Francisco Giants fan. So did some Bonds.
What about Clark? You got any Will Clark out there?
So that's my guy.
That's my guy, bro. I make you watch his hitting, dude, to this day on YouTube. I love his podcast, man.
He's the man. He is the man. And I didn't realize that, like, that makes him even cooler because when I was little, I didn't know that side to him. But, like, that was, I was dressing up like him with his jersey and having my parents announce me as I came down the stairs. Like, I was Will Clark. So, yeah, that's my guy. I know I've done a handful for my dad for, like, gifts. But, the junk wax is more few and far between because it is a niche in itself for people that like to collect junk wax. If I do a card from that era, it might be because someone had commissioned a certain player that just so happened to have a card from that era, and that like that Griffey, like that could be considered
that's what I
was. But that pose and that card was so cool, so it's like that was.
Bro, you hit it on the head, and I'm glad you grabbed. We all think of him right as a Mariner, and it was like the side angle, the bubble coming out. You hit it, dude. It was
You got that
crazy.
pose. It was perfect. So yeah,
Bruh.
that's I mean, and that, a lot of times when I have requests and people reach out, they'll have either specific things they want on the card or they'll want a specific card. But if they don't have any specific request or a specific card, I'll go on eBay and just see the like there's things I look for, like the stock it's on, or how big is the athlete and compared to the card, is he centered or his limbs cut off by any design. Like there's things that I look out for. But it's cool that there's just so many options, especially someone like Griffey. You can go on eBay and type in Griffey card and you'll be there for a couple hours just looking through everything. So
what's the wildest DM you've ever gotten about your work? Like, I mean, have you ever had like any like crazy
I mean,
here, Brent.
I think the one that probably sticks out the most, and it's somewhat recent, is Undertaker was my guy growing up. Man. I got DMs from his podcast, 6 Feet Under podcast that he does. I think it's now more like WWE production commercialized. I think his wife is his co-host now, but it was a guy named Matt Lyda in The Undertaker. But the podcast reached out and was asking me about my cards, and like, if you guys would ever want one, let me know. And they send them, we'll put them in the studio. And so they had them in their studio, and you can see my little stands and the Undertaker and his buddy. But I was just marking out on that because I was an Undertaker fan. And when they sent that, I'm like, oh my gosh. But they said, if you have anything you want signed, send it. We'll have them sign it and send it back. And I got his card. I got autographed. But
what did you do? Which card did you do of his? With an urn? Did you get an urn in one?
Yeah, I did 3. I think one might have had an urn. There was this Prism from 2024. It was a horizontal card. I did his Select, maybe 24, and there might have been an urn, but it's like his classic on his knee, and it's an old school picture.
That's dope.
And one other one that I thrown in there, but that was cool. I mean, like, that's my guy right there. That's awesome. When that message came through, I was like, oh no, it's happening. It's happening.
That's for real. There was a rumor that used to go around that he went to our high school that we went to.
Where'd you guys go?
Dobie High School.
Dobie? I know he's Houston.
Yeah.
I know he's Houston.
I think it's more. I think he actually did, but I just don't. There we go. JFD, class of 03.
I'm cleaning the office out, dude. I'm finding so much crap.
Sorry. We're from Sagemont.
Yeah. No, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
No, I know he's a Houston guy, so I know. And like, he's around, and especially like UT stuff. He's all around Texas. But that's
my wife, her nephew, he just graduated from high school, and everybody's like, "What are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna go to college?" And he's like, "I'm going to wrestling school." So he's going to Booker T's wrestling school. He's been like his whole entire life, like he's just been fixated with wrestling. Like, I mean. And so it's going to be cool to see when he goes through and see what happens.
That kid's living my dream right now. That's cool.
His mom kind of put it in perspective. She's like, you have your whole entire life. Like, go and try and do what you actually want to do. Like, pursue your dreams. And then if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to college. You can always get a job or do whatever you want. And so I just thought that was like great advice, because you'd have some parents that would just be like, no, you got to go to college.
That's a great mom right there, man. That's a great mom. And that's all. You hear all the wrestlers now that are champion, they're like, I just grew up loving wrestling. That's all I wanted to do. So I mean, that's how it starts. But that's so cool, man. That's cool. I tell my daughter all the time, like, I would love to go back. If I was in high school, I'd be like, I'm going to wrestling school. That's my thing.
Right.
That's too cool.
So with the rise of technology and AI, what are your feelings on like AI generated art? Is it trash, or is it future? Is it the future, or is it just? What are your thoughts on it? Because it's crazy. Because it's crazy.
I think AI is going to play heavily in our future.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with creatives using AI for certain things, because for certain, like, for reference, or to come up with ideas, or like stuff, like, because your brain tries to think of things off the wall all the time, and for something else to throw something at you and see it, what you think of it, that I don't mind as much. And that I know can be a very useful tool. I think where I don't really like AI for the creatives is when it is whether it's the whole image or a majority part of it is created using AI, and let's find the right words here.
It has a different look to it, though.
Tries to pass
to
it
me,
off
pass it off as this is something I
true.
put my time and effort into, and look what I made. Because realistically, you type in a prompt, you hit it, you look through the picture, and you save it. Maybe you put a filter or two over it, or you cut it out. But the reality is,
you didn't create that.
Yeah. So I think when I see people that are making things that may not be 100% AI, but they're definitely, or even if things are just like cut and paste, kind of mocked together and then printed out and then like trying to pass off as this like high-end art is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But I think that's, I've had conversations with other guys that paint or, draw or do things that take time and kind of in the same house that I am in. I think it's just as artists that really put hours into it for someone to just the click of a button make something and say, look, I'm an artist, look what I did. It's like, it's kind of crazy, but to each his own. But I think as long as you kind of stay true to I stay in my lane. I don't really worry what's out here. I have too much to worry about in here. So, but that's I don't. I'm mixed feelings, definitely, if you can't tell.
I understand.
You follow someone. Oh God, Brett, my fault. Oh,
Brett. You're good. You go ahead.
No, go for it, Brent.
No, I mean, I've been experimenting with AI just to kind of like help create thumbnails.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like if anybody looks at it, they're like, this definitely AI did this. There's no way this dude did this shit. And so like it is what it is. I don't ever try to pass any of that off. Yeah. But the research and the creative side of it is so cool because you can sit there and just say, tell me about this. And it'll just tell you like all the information about something. And then I don't know, it's just mind blowing. And like I have a 13-year-old and like he's started to like experiment it. He's like build video games and stuff with the help of Chat GPT to help him how to like do the coding and stuff like that. And so it's just,
that part's crazy. Like the educational side of it and what it can do for that. Like I collect pictures and I'm trying to find like original wrestling photos, what the date is from, and like I'll upload the picture and say, hey, Grok or whatever, when is this from? And like they haven't always been right, but the fact that that's even an option, that like AI can just look at something like, oh, that's that. I'm like, okay, I would have never been able to find that out any other way. But yeah, that type of stuff is, I mean, definitely. That's what I said. It's in the future, and it's going to weigh so heavily into our future. It's pretty insane.
So do you have any advice for like other creatives that want to try to break into the hobby with like custom cards and stuff like that, or just any advice for any creatives at all?
Yeah.
Regardless of the space?
No, for sure. Just the same thing I tell myself is just keep hustling. Right. And kind of going back to what I was just saying, like stay true to you and don't try to cater to any, like what you think someone might like or what's current at the time or what's selling the most or anything like that. Just do what you think is cool. And that even goes into collecting. I say like collect what you think is cool and don't worry about the value or the stock or is it going to go up or down or how much is this worth now or what can I trade it for? Like I've always been, that looks cool. I like that. And so that's kind of how I think, I approach my art. And I feel like if I've always said and pivoting's okay. Pivoting, like changing your styles or your idea, as long as I don't ever feel like I'm compromising like my artistic integrity to pivot, right? Then it's kind of just a natural part of the process. But definitely just hustle and stay true to what you like and what you want to do, what you're trying to create.
Talking about what you create and everything. Hey, Stacey Wall, we bumped into him in National, and I see a lot of times me and you like to live some stuff. Have you ever thought about going like how he does those 68 tops where they're kind of beat up and the crinkles and he's getting like those crinkles in there? And see, I love it, right? We randomly meet him, but I was telling Brent about that BC Boys he posted the other day a while back and what they're going for, like that's a whole nother avenue. Would you ever try something like that?
And what is it that I know? I got a little one. You want to say hi? Say hi.
What's up, bud?
Hi.
Hi. This is Arabelle.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
Good.
Just wanted to say hi. She was hanging out in the corner. I'm like, come on.
All good.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we're girl dads. We understand.
Yeah.
She's usually with me at the shows, so
That's cool, man.
dope.
But remind me, I know Stacy. Remind me, like the style or like
He has
exactly.
like the old Pelés, and so he's doing a lot of 68 tops, so they're just different ones from that year. And it'll be like the card, and if you are held for this long and it's crinkled, right? He's getting those crinkles in his and they're like on pieces of wood.
I got you. So and I'm just in his whole, like, it's all hand paint. It's not like on
Yeah, dude, they're going
card,
and they're
just the whole
different.
piece.
Yeah.
So he's almost making them look. He's painting them to look vintage and kind of distressed. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. And I love when guys that are like hyper, like realism and really, really cool stuff that they can do. Yeah, I mean, that's always, I get inspired when I see really talented artists, and whether or not it's like I want to try that, I think it opens up that just your receptors to just being inspired by anything and everything. And so but I also think when I see people create awesome art, it just inspires me to create awesome art.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Just kind of like that. If I know someone can make something that's epic like that, like I want to make something epic, regardless if it looks the same or feels the same. But no, I know there's a handful of great artists that are in the sports, I guess the hobby themselves. Lots of different styles, lots of different art, but it's cool. And I don't, again, it's just people doing what they love and creating some cool stuff for a bunch of different people. Because I know not everybody, art doesn't appeal the same way to everybody. It's all subjective, right? So the fact that you have a bunch of different types out there for people to kind of appreciate and dabble into is, I think, the more the better, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You're up there though, for sure, man. It's some of the stuff you do, man, and we love it, dude.
So do you have a website, or do you have, I know you said you have
mainly it's just through IG right now.
Okay.
I have the domain. I'm in the middle. Long story short, I'm going to redo my website. I had it up for a while. So I feel like IG was mainly the the hub of all of my business. So I didn't feel too bad when I shut it down for a little bit and got to reassess things. But I started recently putting up on eBay too.
Okay.
I ran into issues years ago because of listing title. Like, they're very finicky. Like, I would spend all this time listing it, and then like an hour later it's removed because of something I put in the title about sports. Like, they're very finicky about it's not a sport, this sports card. It's all done on a sports card, and how do you label that? But I think I found the
what's the labeling of behind that? Because I'm curious, because me and Brent, we do a lot of sales through eBay, right? And all day. And I'm just curious because I've wondered that.
I think it's when you're more specific about the original card, because what I used to do was like the say, take this Ovechkin, I would say like 24-25 Upper Deck Series 2 Alexander Ovechkin, or even if I were to put custom hand painted in front of it, I think as long as it says that in there, it nixed it for whatever reason. So I got a little more careful. I put the date, and then Alexander Ovechkin, Luke the Cardist, custom painted 101 card, and then in the description, I would say the canvas used was a 2024-2025 Upper Deck Series 2.
There you go.
So, because that's really what it is it's art done on a card. So the card is, acting as a canvas. So, and that's, I get a lot of those questions at shows about like people that are unfamiliar, like, well, what is that worth now? Or what is that value of the sports card? You got to understand the second that I touch it with paint, its value from a traditional sports card like standpoint is down the drain, because I just I painted on it. But I said, but you also have to realize the second I touch it with paint, it becomes a piece of art that just so happens to be on the sports card. So I think what's nice is that because of that, it can appeal to the art world, but also guys that collect and like certain cards, and it having that one-on-one aspect to it. But it's crazy, man. There's lots of different kind of loopholes and things that you can go about doing. But I think I'm good now on eBay. There's definitely a few listings up.
It's cool. We'll have to go check it out. Do you have, so I'm not to drag this on any further. This is kind of the last question, and then we'll get into our lightning round of questions. Cool. But do you have pieces that you just do and then put for sale on eBay, or is it all, or do you do all commission work? Or
so majority of like my business is commission work that come in, and at any given time I think I'm like 12 or 13 right now, and then there's my projects on top of that. So like the turn times aren't as quick as they used to be, but yeah. So in between, like, or when like passion pieces I do, I guess those are just ones that I do them. I put them in my case. So when I do set up in Conroe, or I do, run across friends at other card shows, I have inventory. That's because at the beginning I would make it and sell it and make it and sell it and make it and sell it. And then when I started kind of wanting to do shows and make a business out of this thing, I'm like, I have no inventory. So I needed to make them and not sell them. And I've kind of caught a groove now. But yeah, like my daughter got a Labubu. You familiar with Labubus? She got a Labubu the other day, and it came with a card in it. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. So I did this like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that. I got to get one of theirs. My little munchkin is a Labubu fiend. So
yeah, my daughter, she can't get
that's
enough.
the true. Put Jeter, put Correa back down. Labubu's definitely coming back next. I just got bumped again.
For sure.
I'll be reaching out again this week.
For sure. But yeah, that's a perfect example. Like ones that, I just do, and like I put them in the case, and some sell quickly, some I hold on to for a while, but it's nice, because like this last show I sold so many that I had for a little bit, and it's nice when you can clear that older inventory out and make way for the new. But yeah, there's usually try to sit on like 60, 70, 80 cards in the inventory when I set up at any given show.
And those are all painted?
All painted. You have no idea, Brent.
Yeah,
I won every time when he told me last time there was like 6. I had to like step back.
What's the next show that you'll be set up at?
So it will be Conroe in November. It was supposed to be they wanted September, but I'm going to be at week 1 Texans Rams in LA.
Hey.
So I'm going to be gone for that. I was happy to say, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be here. But so it's normally, I think, bi-monthly, but November will be the next one. And, usually when I something comes up and I go, I know there's stuff's coming up next year in 2026 that I'll be at with Upper Deck for the releases. So it usually happens pretty quick. So I don't really know until a month or so before. But I count on Conroe just because it's a great show. It continues to get bigger and bigger every time. Great turnouts, free admission, which is awesome. Yeah. But it's right across the lake from me right here. So it's
cool.
Yeah, right here. Not too bad.
So I'm just going to get into a little lightning round of questions to kind of wrap things up. But cool. What's the first card you remember owning?
First card I remember owning. I had so many before this, but this one's sticking in my head. A Marcus Camby. It was some crazy lime green insert from the junk wax era, from probably Skybox or Upper Deck of some sort. But it was it looked like a TV, I wanted to say, but it was lime green, and thought it was the coolest thing in the world. That's probably the first one I can remember, as crazy as that is.
So what's playing in your car on the way to a show, music-wise?
Right now, I'm a big music guy.
Cool.
Right now, I'd probably say Steven Wilson Jr. is what I'm.
Steven Wilson Jr.
Yeah, you guys have not heard of him. You need to get on that.
Hey, I'm writing down right now.
Yeah, I was supposed to see him at the Heights Theater in I don't know, February or March, but he canceled. His mom got in an ATV accident, but he'll be at White Oak in February, and it's unbelievable. You guys should check it out for sure.
Hell yeah! So raw or graded cards?
Raw.
Yeah, I understand why.
Raw.
You can paint on them, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and it's cheap, and like you don't. If you have a raw card, if you get it and you achieve it, you're like, oh, I got this card. If you're worried about grading, then you get it and you're like, oh, how's it look? Or you're worried about that before you buy it. Like, it's easier. It's more fun. Raw is just, and when you're not worried about value, you're just worried about, or you like the card and just want it for that. So yeah, raw all the way.
So what's the last card you regretted not buying? Something you passed by and you were like, man, I should have bought that.
Probably. There's been some wrestling ones. I would say, it was a Jacob Fatu. I knew it would be a wrestling one. Jacob Fatu, Topps Chrome Auto, out of 175. A couple Conroe shows ago, they had it across the way. I saw it, and I'm like, I'll be back to get it. And then I had wrestling at my table, and this kid, he's like, "Look what I just bought," and I knew it.
Felt
it, and I'm like, "Oh, did you get it from over there?" So yeah, I regretted not pulling the trigger on that one, but yeah, that's it.
That's cool. So Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger.
Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Good.
No, and I was the guy, like, my
Running
parents
down.
grew up in California, so like I was always back and forth, like Southern California and Texas my whole life. So I ate In-N-Out, and I appreciated it as like a vacation burger I got to get, like when I wasn't in Texas. But Whataburger, I mean, you can't. Yeah, doesn't even come close.
This is not on.
Shame on anyone that thinks otherwise.
That's right.
It's a growing. We're keeping track.
Yeah,
We're keeping track.
This is a new thing. I'm just gonna ask every person that comes on: Whataburger or In-N-Out, and then if it's Whataburger, then we're cool. If it's In-N-Out,
Whataburger, not only is it better, but like you have options. If I want a chicken sandwich, I can get a chicken sandwich, and it's a good chicken sandwich. If I want a burger, it's gonna be the best burger. Like In-N-Out's great, but burgers or animal style fries or milkshakes, that's
it.
Your cut. That's it.
Don't sleep on that breakfast though, fam. That breakfast on a bun, dude. See, that's what I'm at.
My wife's a big fan.
Shipley, I saw Shipley sold out too the
to
other day.
Beverly Hills Company.
Yeah,
which is crazy because like they don't eat kolaches. Isn't a thing in California. Like they might be, but they're like from a Russian bakery and they're like fruit kolaches. They're not. Yeah. So any friend or any like family that would come here, they'd have kolaches, and I'm like, this is the best. I'm like, you guys, I would make a killing if I opened up, and now not only are kolaches, but Shipley kolaches are going over there, and I just hope it stays the same. But
that's my concern. I'm just worried that kolache. There's a Shipley's on Jensen Drive in Houston that like it's where I work, and I've been going to it for years. But there's something, I don't know if it's the oven that they use, but they always have the best consistency of cheese to bread and to the wiener.
Perfect.
It's the best. It's the best one. It's the perfect size. The cheese explodes whenever you eat it.
That's it.
But it's the best thing.
You can't
put keep it as a secret, bro. I see. Luke, he's told me about this. How long did he tell you we've been friends to start with? He's never mentioned once about this special Shipley's that has the kolache cheese ratio.
Not once.
Yeah,
buying 4 dozen every morning and just giving it out to people. That's it. That's too funny.
Thanks again for joining us, man. This has been fun. Thanks for letting us just sharing a little bit about yourself and kind of getting to know you more. And so hopefully we'll be able to catch up in person soon at the next show or wherever we run into each other. But thanks for coming on, and this is sweet cards, dude.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, I think I like it. They say invest in gold, golden flow, so instead I invested in crypto, having conversations, the paper talking. 2025, I'll be taking profits. And 21 was hollow to the moon, cause soon I'll be taking spaceships down space station, hopping David Goggins. Yeah, you can't hurt me, especially when I hop on beats from Hurting Murphy. She was FM station swapping when she heard me, and now I'm getting kisses like my name was Hershey. I can never go wrong breaking laws of Murphy. Chose to serve the world, now the world serves me. Dessert, please. I got that sweet tooth from beginning to the finish. I MC still getting loud in my head from the words I've never said before. I'm trying to drown in it. Call Wendy Peppercorn. That's a Sandlot reference. I ain't on the fence, I'm over it. Sailing independent, I have ownership. And my